Hello everybody, welcome to Morgoni MS College Online Learning Hub. This is Muhammad Khurshid Alam, Head Department of English. Today we will study The Good-Morrow by John Donne. This lesson is for the student of honors first year on the National University. The objectives of this session is to discuss and analyze the Good-Morrow that will provide better understanding of the 17th century metaphysical poetry. John Donne was born in England in 1572 and died in 1631. A lawyer by profession, he also became a member of the Parliament. But his career was dogged by the prevailing anti-Catholic sentiments of the times, and eventually he converted to Anglican faith. He married in 1601 under somewhat controversial circumstances, facing disapproval from his father-in-law. It was in fact a happy marriage, but his wife Anne, though younger, did not survive him. She died shortly after the birth of their 12th child. With increasing enthusiasm for his adopted faith, he became Dean of London's St. Paul's Cathedral in 1621. Here is the standard recitation of the poem by Stephen Parry.
I wonder by my troth what thou and I did till we loved. Were we not weaned till then, but sucked on country pleasures childishly? Or snorted we in the seven sleepers' den? 'Twas so. But this, all pleasures, fancies be. If ever any beauty I did see, which I desired and got, 'twas but a dream of thee. And now good morrow to our waking souls, which watch not one another out of fear, for love, all love of other sights controls, and makes one little room and everywhere. Let sea discoverers to new worlds have gone. Let maps to other worlds on worlds have shown. Let us possess one world. Each hath one and is one. My face in thine eye, thine in mine appears, and true plain hearts do in the faces rest. Where can we find two better hemispheres, without sharp north, without declining west? Whatever dies was not mixed equally. If our two loves be one, or thou and I love so alike that none do slacken, none can die.
The title means good morning or new beginning. Good morrow is archaic, an old-fashioned way of greeting someone. A poem of 21 lines divided into 3 stanzas. It was published in 1633 in Donne's Songs and Sonnets. Here is the text of the poem that is diagrammed according to the 3 phases of love. The Good Morrow describes the state of perfect love in which a speaker and his lover exist. The poem begins with the speaker noting how his life and his lover's did not truly begin until they met. Up until they came together, they were like children suckling from their mother's breast. He knows now that any pleasure he has previously was fake. His current love is the only real thing he has ever experienced. Then he describes how there is no way for their love to fail because it controls everything he sees. His whole life is driven by it. Therefore, he has no reason to want anything outside of their small bedroom. The poem concludes with the speaker stating that their love is balanced like a healthy body. Their emotional and physical states are connected so deeply that nothing can go wrong. Here is the line-by-line analysis of the poem. In line 1, 2, and 3, the speaker wakes up and starts to question himself. What on earth did we do before we are together? Like all rhetorical questions, this one is not really meant to be answered. Instead, the speaker uses it as a way to get his poetic monologue rolling, to get his lady friend thinking about love and why their relationship is so fantastic. Weaned and sucked refer to breastfeeding. However, these two words might have us give us sexual imageries as the line suggests. The speakers addressing the women in the morning after having spent the night together. On the surface, sucked on country pleasure childishly is another breastfeeding references with country implying that childhood fun is rustic and unsophisticated. In line 4 and 5, the seven sleepers refers to an illusion of a legendary group of Christian children who were walled up alive by the Roman Emperor Decius. But instead of suffocating or starving to death, these children slept miraculously for a real long time. When a random builder unbricked the entrance 187 years later, he found them alive and well. With this illusion, the speaker suggests that anything before their relationship was childish, boring, because everyone was asleep and something to be hidden or afraid of. The final two lines of the first stanza sum it up. Thinking back on his life, the speaker says that any beautiful woman he saw or desired was merely a dream of his current beloved. Compared to the love he is experiencing now, those affairs had no substance, no importance, ultimately no reality. The second stanza opens with a triumphant greeting to their souls as they awaken into a constant trusting love. The point the speaker is making is that true love, the kind that involves the souls, is totally without fear. They watch each other and feel only the pure joy of being together. Line 10 and 11 states the reason these souls are so perfectly satisfied is that erotic love overpowers the love of anything else. But at the same time, that the outside world means nothing to you. Love is turning your bedroom a smaller version of the world. True love is so perfect and all-consuming that it can contain the whole universe. These lines reflect the Renaissance idea that an individual held within them the universe. In line 12 to 14, the speaker contrasts the physical world sought by the explorer and map readers with the spiritual world of the lovers. When he asserts that each of them is a world in itself, he is referring to the view that every man and woman is a miniature universe with the same component as the greater universe. That makes this bedroom, which is also the whole world, is a pretty world-saturated sanctuary. The triplet of the stanza 2 uses anaphora, the repetition of the same words at the beginning of succeeding lines. Here it is let, which really underlines the speaker's suggestions. Since love has made their bedroom the equivalent of the whole world, these lovers are no longer interested in traveling anywhere else. Through their love, they already possess the whole world right there in that rumpled bed. In line 15 to 16, the speaker sees his own face reflected in her eyes and assumes that she can see his too. Gazing into her eyes, he claims that emotional honesty resides in the face, that true love is written in their eyes and the expressions of their mouths. In line 17 and 18, there is another rhetorical question about these hearts, using a conceit and extended metaphor to compare them to two separated hemispheres. These heart's hemispheres are perfectly designed and perfectly matched. With no cold wintry north, these hearts are full of warm southern love, and with no west where the sun sets every day, bringing darkness to the world, they hold nothing but constancy and light. The last triplet of the third stanza begins with an observation that seems a bit out of context. In medieval theories of medicine, death was thought to be the result of imbalances in the body's element. However, the speaker here concludes that if their feelings for each other are the same or really similar, then their love is so healthy that it will never weaken or die. By comparing their love to a human body, the speaker argues that their passion is not just strong and lusty, it's also well balanced and in proportion. The concept here is that the earthly sphere is composed of heterogeneous substances which are unstable, ever changing, and therefore mortal. The heavenly sphere is formed of homogeneous spiritual substance which is pure and eternal. Sensual love is earthly and subject to change and decay, whereas love enjoyed by the speaker and his beloved is equal, a state of oneness, a pure and changeless union. The themes in the poem The Good-Morrow are love and death. The main theme of the poem is love. It is an ode to love. Two persons finding each other and seeing themselves while looking at each other's face. Before love, they were childish and lived vainly until love awakened them. Everything else seems unimportant compared to the two souls waking next to each other. The entire poem is an exaggerated expression of love, of the feeling of being in love and finding the perfect soulmate. Death is mentioned in the poem but unassertively. It is only mentioned as a form of strengthening the idea that love conquers everything. Towards the end, the speaker talks about that as a consequence of lack of true love. If love makes two people like one, each of them equally contributing to the whole, then there is no death. That is the instance could more so seen as a dying of love, of relationship falling apart. Donne uses symbols, allegory, and allusion extensively. The first one is emotional immaturity. Emotional immaturity is symbolically connected to the breastfeeding infant, and the poet wonders how before they reach this emotional stability through love, they are immature. They are not weaned till then. Like infants, they are still suckling on the worldly pleasure. They are looking for that stability outside themselves. The second one is Seven Sleepers Den. The poet makes an allusion to the well-known religious story of the seven sleepers. According to the Bible, seven sleepers are Christian boys who got trapped in a cave and slept there for almost 200 years. It is an exaggerated way of showing the emotional immaturity as a sense of inability to wake up. The third one is globe. The poet mentions the globe, the art, the maps, and the earthly discoveries as a way to show that all these vast things are meaningless in comparison to lying next to a loved one and seeing one's reflections in their eyes. John Donne utilizes poetic devices to bring the effect of metaphysical poetry. So, what is metaphysical poetry? Metaphysical poetry is characterized as highly intellectual representation of intensely emotional subject in which literary elements such as conceit, allusion, paradox, irony are often used widely. The first one is conceit or extended metaphor, and the title begins the conceit in which the speaker's love for his beloved is compared to an awakening, both physical and emotional. To describe this awakening, Donne uses religious allusions to the seven sleepers den, geographical or cartographic references, explorers going to new worlds, references to alchemy mixing equally and obliquely to Plato's cave allegory, last line of the first stanza. The next devices are wit and paradox. Much wit characterizes this poem. The first stanza deals with the state of the lovers before they found each other. The second deals with the present, and the third deals with the future, and the idea that their love will last forever. and these references to time are combined with the references to space. One of the most clever aspects of the poem lies in the last stanza, when the love between the two lovers is exemplified by each lover seeing his or her own images reflected in the eyes of the other. This beautiful image represents the union of the lovers and the paradox of the let us possess one world and each has one and is one. Donne uses many kinds of poetic devices to depict the intensity of love. Here is the artistic presentation of the poem marked by all the poetic devices used by Donne. Here is the template of a scansion Donne used in the Good-Morrow. The Good-Morrow has a basic iambic pentameter template, and that is there are 5 regular beats and 10 syllables in each line, except for the last line of each stanza, which has 12, so count as hexameters. Apart from this, the other literary devices Donne used are alliteration, assonance, caesura, metonymy, and synodosty, personification, and hyperbole. Here we have given some examples of the devices from the poem in the following slides. Here are some questions for you. Follow these sessions and prepare the answers. Thank you for being with us.